Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the midday news on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Queen Agaba. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on Star Times channel 276. You can also download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has detained 4 Chinese and 27 others over alleged illegal mining in Jos. This is contained in a statement by the Commission's spokesperson, Dele Oyewale, in Abuja. He says the suspects were arrested on Saturday in the premises of Jiasheng Nigeria Limited, located at Dura Rayfield Mango Road, Jos. Angry youths in Naka, Benue State, on Tuesday set fire to the palace of Te Nagi Chief Daniel Ambose and parts of the Gwe West local government secretariat while protesting the killing of 3 people. The violence erupted after suspected armed headers reportedly killed 3 operatives of the Benue Civil Protection Guards at Garua community in the local government. The bodies of the victims were brought to Naka in the early hours of Tuesday, triggering protests that escalated into destruction. The People's Democratic Party and Rivers State government on Monday kicked against the call by a faction of the All Progressives Congress for the resignation or impeachment of Governor Siminalayi Fubara. The development comes as Fubara says he would not be deterred by threats from those pushing to disrupt governance through the instigation of political crisis in the state. He warned against any act of lawlessness and insisted that his part would remain focused on ensuring peace. Justice Yetunde Pinero of the Lagos State High Court in Ikeja has adjourned the hearing of a suit filed by the reinstated Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, to March 17, 2025. Obasa is challenging his removal as Speaker on January 13, 2025, following allegations of fraud, high-handedness, abuse of office, and gross misconduct leveled against him by 35 lawmakers. The respondents in the suit include members of the Lagos State House of Assembly and former Speaker Mojisola Meranda. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission is set to probe the Osun State Government's ex-commissioner for local government and chieftaincy matters as the agency on Monday invited him for questioning. A media aide to Adeleke, Mr. Kazim Mohammed, who confirmed receipt of the letter by his principal, says he would honor invitation soon. Mohammed, who says Adeleke was met by the ICPC officials that brought the letter while leaving the premises of the radio station in Osogbo, the state's capital, noted that the ex-commissioner was not arrested as speculated on social media. State Ministry of Health has warned citizens to remain extra vigilant as the state witnessed rising cases of meningitis in some local government areas of the state. The commissioner stated that the warning became necessary as most of the samples collected from the suspected cases and sent to laboratory for investigation by the ministry were confirmed to be meningitis. He says the ministry has intensified surveillance, case management, and public health intervention to curb the spread of the dreaded disease. The police command in Lagos State has detained 2 Pakistani nationals, among other criminal suspects, for various offences committed from February 27th to date. The command spokesperson, CSP Benjamin Hundeyin, confirmed this during a press briefing at the command's headquarters in Ikeja. Hundeyin stated that among those arrested were 2 Pakistani nationals who kidnapped their fellow countryman and demanded a ransom of 50 million naira. The Lagos State government has initiated an emergency response following the death of a 12-year-old student at King's College Victoria Island Annex after a diphtheria outbreak. 14 other students are currently hospitalized at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, LUTH, receiving treatment. According to the Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, the index case presented with symptoms of sore throat and fever on February 22nd and was promptly referred to Louth. Political appointees who served in the ex-governor Idris Ichala Wada administration between 2012 and 2016 in Kogi State have made a passionate appeal to Governor Ahmed Ododo for the payment of their outstanding salaries. The former Kogi State appointees say they are being owed 3-month salaries that have remained unpaid for the past 9 years. One of them, Austin Alaba Media Yedu, former special advisor on intergovernmental affairs, made the appeal in an open letter addressed to Governor Ododo in Lokoja. The Enugu State government has vowed to investigate and arrest individuals engaged in a illegal task force of collecting revenue from scavengers in the state. The secretary to the state government, Professor Chidi Ebere Onya, disclosed this in Enugu, decrying the activities of the illegal task force. Onya says the state government will investigate the report and punish those parading themselves as members according to the provisions of the law. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention has confirmed the death of a 31-year-old physician who succumbed to Lassa fever after returning from the United Kingdom. The agency also reported that the cumulative number of Lassa fever cases has risen to 535 out of 2,728 suspected cases, with 98 deaths recorded across 14 states in Nigeria as of March 2nd, 2025. Lassa fever is an acute viral hemorrhagic fever caused by the Lassa virus. The natural reservoir for the virus is the multi-mammoth rat, also known as the African rat. You're watching the live broadcast of the Midday News. When Midday News returns, we'll have more stories for you right after the break. Please stay with us.
Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to global television.
Many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcast of the Midday News. In business, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, has revealed that the federal government was liaising with other countries to provide remote work opportunities for Nigerian youth. Bagudu made this known on Monday at the KPMG Budget 2027 Day, where he says Nigeria is home to one of Africa's largest youth populations, even as the National Bureau of Statistics say the country's unemployment rate dropped to 4.3% in the second quarter of 2024 from 5.3% in Q1. The Nigerian Labour Force survey indicated that the labour force participation rate among working age population increased to 79.5% in Q2 2024 from 77.3% in Q1 2024. Compressed natural gas users in Abuja have called on the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, and the federal government to improve on the commodities availability across the country. Samuel Odi completes the story.
Following the removal of fuel subsidy, the Nigerian government has launched a presidential compressed natural gas initiative to drive the adoption of CNG across transportation sector, aiming to provide relief on the cost of living and reduce reliance on petrol. A cross-section of Nigerians have commended the president's initiative on driving the adoption of CNG, despite availability being a challenge. The price of CNG is more cost-effective as it is sold at 230 naira, while fuel sells for between 860 naira and 890 naira.
CNG is sold at 230 naira here in Abuja per ACM, while petrol is 800 and something in some filling stations. So if you want to compare, like my car now, it's 5,000 naira that I feel it But if I want to use fuel, it's 60,000 naira that I can fill. So you can compare the difference. So it's very, very economical and very good and very safe to use.
Due to the lack of availability, some drivers express their grievances over the amount of time they have to spend on the queue before they can purchase the compressed natural gas.
6 in the morning, this CNG would enjoy, but 6 in the morning, I dey here 5 o'clock, I dey do along. I know if you come out to work, the thing dey very hard. And I beg, would they beg president, this way he initiate to us, it dey very, very good. I would thank him so much. But the only thing is that advice I won't give government before you go bring something come to introduce to the public, make you try put provision in place first before bringing those things out. Now the thing they would enjoy, but to get out there very hard.
Users of compressed natural gas speak about the safety and durability of the commodity.
Depends on the conversion. If it's from a locally, although they have stopped it, the ones that happen in Benin is a local made cylinder. So since then we have not been having any issue concerning explosion. So the safety and is very okay for engine.
The availability of CNG station is a key factor in its adoption, over which Nigerians have called on the president and NNPC to build more CNG stations. Nigerians have hailed the president for the initiative of the compressed natural gas, and they have actually confessed to the fact that it is way more cheaper and safer for them to use for their cars as well. But they've made complaint that availability has been a concern when it comes to the compressed natural gas. They've called on the president to make more availability and create more initiatives to have this compressed natural gas all over the country. Samuel Odi reporting for Global Television News.
The Nigerian stock market closed in a negative territory at weekend following sell-offs in some blue-chip companies across the sectors of the market. This came despite the declining yields in the fixed income market. Market analysts explained that the market remained bearish because the dividend payouts so far announced were similarly below market expectations. Auction data published has shown that the value of art sold at auctions globally fell by a third last year compared to 2023, with the Chinese market crashing by 63%. Artpiece, a France-based consultancy, Artprice, a France-based consultancy aggregating auction data from around the world, say the value of art sold in 2024 slumped to $9.9 billion, the lowest level since 2009. President Donald Trump says the United States is in talks with 4 groups interested in acquiring TikTok, with the Chinese-owned app facing an uncertain future in the country. A U.S. law has ordered TikTok to divest from its Chinese-owned ByteDance or be banned in the United States. The law banning TikTok took effect on January 19th over concerns that the Chinese government could exploit the video-sharing platform to spy on Americans or covertly influence U.S. public opinion. On the foreign scene, China has said it hoped a just and lasting solution could be found to the 3-year war between Ukraine and Russia ahead of talks due involving Ukrainian and U.S. officials in Saudi Arabia. China supports all efforts that contribute to a peaceful resolution of the crisis, according to the Minister of the Foreign Ministry spokesman Mao Ning when asked about the talks at a conference in Beijing. Ukraine will present the United States on Tuesday with a plan for a partial ceasefire with Russia, hoping to restore support from its key benefactor, which under President Donald Trump has demanded concessions to end the 3-year war. The talks in Saudi Arabia comes as Russia has ramped up attacks against Ukraine, and Kyiv has hit back, including an overnight attack on Moscow involving dozens of drones. The meeting will be the most senior since a disastrous White House visit last month when Trump berated Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky for purported ingratitude. Syria's new leader has vowed accountability and an investigation after reports of mass killing of Alawite civilians triggered an international backlash against the worst violence since Bashar al-Assad's overthrow. In its latest toll, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights War Monitor say 973 civilians had perished since March 6 in killings, field executions, and ethnic security. I beg your pardon. In its latest toll, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights War Monitor say 973 civilians had perished since March 6 in killings, field executions, and ethnic cleansing operations by security personnel and pro-government fighters in the coastal heartland of the Alawite minority community to which the toppled president belongs. Its previous toll of 830 had specified the executions targeted Alawites in the Mediterranean coastal provinces of Latakia and Tartus. With angry locals and fearful customers, Olivia Munyemana, a Rwandan lorry driver, knows the route from the Indian Ocean port of Dar es Salaam to the DRC by heart, having driven it for 8 years. However, as fighting has escalated in DRC in recent months, with the Rwandan-backed M23 armed group seizing large areas of the east, including the border towns of Goma and Bukavu, he's too afraid to cross. In sports now, Super Eagles head coach Eric Scheller is set to announce his final 23-man squad this week ahead of Nigeria's crucial 2026 World Cup qualifying fixtures against Rwanda and Zimbabwe later this month. The Malian tactician, who released an expanded provisional squad of 39 players last week, has kept the Nigerian football community waiting as fans eagerly anticipate his selection for what will be his debut matches in charge of the three-time African champions. Bayer Leverkusen coach Xabi Alonso believes his team can pull off an epic comeback against Bayern Munich in the Champions League despite trailing 3-0 from the first leg and losing Florian Wirtz to injury. Wirtz has been Leverkusen's midfield creative spark this season, but was ruled out for several weeks with an ankle tendon injury sustained over the weekend ahead of Tuesday's return leg in the last 16 tie. A poor performance last week in Munich left Alonso's men facing a tough challenge, but the Spaniards say his side had nothing to lose against the German giants. And that's it on the Midday News, and it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. You can also download the Global TV Nigeria app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.